So I don't take that off, do I? I just get the next photo. Well, g'day everybody. I'm hoping that this is actually coming to you on Facebook and YouTube right now. We haven't used this program for about 3 or 4 months or something since the start of the GGR. So there's a few buttons for me to press. So this is a solo operation. Jane set it up, and if things go haywire, it's because I'm just getting used to the system again. So lots happening. This will become a daily regular thing. Hopefully we're on time each day around about now, 0900 UTC. Or GMT, call it what you like. We're on summertime here in the UK, so it's actually 10 o'clock local time. So, yeah, lots going on. Yesterday was a big day, and it was great to see the boats take off and everyone's so excited. The crews were ecstatic to finally get going after all that work, and we were certainly busy trying to keep it all happening. We ended up after the start heading out into following them out towards the Needles, and we're so lucky with the weather. And I don't need to explain everything that happened. You can see the lives and so on that we did, Ada and I. And then we got on the ship, and while on the ship, Jack was writing the press release, and we were collating all the photos and so on. So we got some shots when they were just rounding the Needles, and then we headed back. And it still took us quite a while to get everything set up to get the press release out last night. So we were still going, to midnight, 1 o'clock. So it was quite crazy for us. We probably should have been putting tweets out, updating on everything that was happening, but we're all pretty busy, and we did the best we can. So anyway, this is all about the tracker. And later on, certainly not today, I will actually do a tutorial on how to get the most out of the tracker itself, because there's lots of things you can do with it. It's quite substantial, and that's really only for the online version. And, when you get the app and the tracker on your app, you'll get the basic stuff that's there, but if you really want to play with it and get deep into it, then it's all about the online version via the OGR website. We, what I usually do in the mornings, I'll give you a bit of an update verbally on what's happening. Like right now, we just took a call from Sterna. She's got a small problem. Their baby stay, not their inner forestay, but their baby stay is starting to part. They've lost 2 or 3 strands of the baby stay. They've set up a jury stay with Dyneema, and they're continuing on. They're not stopping. It's got nothing to do with their inner forestay that they put their stay sails on. So they're quite happy to do that. They were also had sent us a couple of messages, but they weren't coming through. But now we've sorted that. They've tried again, and we've received their messages. It'll take a while for the boats to settle down. There's always this sort of anticipation, and then there's the stress of getting settled into the boat. First night at sea. Fortunately, the weather's pretty mild, although it's headwinds, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So we're fully expecting to have 3 phone calls today, which will be recorded and put on SoundCloud, and that's scheduled to be Godspeed, Outlaw, and Triana. And if they didn't call, we wouldn't be too stressed because they're probably settling in, but we expect them to call. Godspeed's going to call in about an hour, and then Outlaw about half an hour after that. And at 11 UTC, it'll be Triana. We record those and put them up on SoundCloud. So anyway, so we can look forward to that as well. I'll just now get you to, I'll get you into the tracker, and we'll just walk you through that. So this is actually the website, as you've seen, so you know exactly what's going on there. And the first thing you do, when you're here, if you want to get onto anything directly, if you just scroll down from Follow the Race, you'll see all these little boxes here, and they'll connect you to the various elements of our coverage of the race. Now, some of them haven't happened yet, because if we go through to the entrant satellite calls, there's nothing there. Because we haven't got any yet, but it'll come up, and there's a test message there and tells you what to do, except the bits and pieces. So, but that hasn't started yet. Okay, so forget about that. And now if I get off of there, come back to the daily tracker. Well, that's what we're doing now. So there will be one there. Daily reports haven't started yet. Brian's going to be Brian Hancock, Whitbread veteran, and a couple of editions. He's going to be writing the daily updates, which is just a few paragraphs, which will go down on Facebook, and then it'll be set up in an index basis here on the website. So you'll be able to click on that and go to the daily reports. Latest news is our press releases and sort of opinion pieces and so on. Entrant tweets over here. That's where you'll find, you go straight to the tweets. It's not direct on Twitter, but we do summaries on Facebook, which are then indexed as well, and you'll be able to keep up with them from there. This is satellite calls, as I said. Summary highlights, well, that's not happening yet because it's only just gone. The lives, all the lives that we do at the starts and finishes of the legs, plus occasionally special edition of lives. So I don't think we mentioned that Butch, our other commentator, Whitbread veteran on Sayula, the winner of the Whitbread, he's got an amazing logbook. So when he comes into La Sable d'Olonne, we'll be back there in a week or so, or we'll be back there on Wednesday, actually. We'll do a live just on his logbook, just going through it. It's fascinating. Now, boat tours. We were supposed to do video boat tours of all the entrants in the village here on the Marina. It just simply didn't happen. We were too busy. We'll try to do that in Cape Town, which will walk you through the boats, and you can have a have a good look at what's going on. So there's no boat tours at the moment. We did do 4 or 5 of the boats, the technical galleries, but we haven't got them up yet. Okay, so that's coming as well. That'll come in the next week or so. We'll put those as a huge amount of just photographs, just to show you some of the ways the boats are set up. They're quite interesting. When we get the entrant onboard footage, any of the videos coming in, then they will appear here during the course of the leg. We'll also be getting photographs from the boats. We're expecting photographs also from Godspeed Outlaw and Triana today. Whenever they make a SoundCloud call, their schedule, that's when they're, if they're up for it, their opportunity to send us photos and so on. But for now, this is the key element. This one here, you hit on the live over the side here, and you'll see there's the race start. Well, we've already done that. That'll be sitting there day by day. What this allows you to do, a lot of people actually aren't on any of the social media outlets, but you just scroll down. You don't have to be on Facebook. You don't have to be on any other social networks, but they're all here anyway. So if you don't like Facebook and you're not on it, don't despair. We put a lot of material out on Facebook, and you can follow it all here, just as if it's on the website. Okay, so it transfers across. That includes all the videos and all the bits and pieces. So just remember, day by day, which is that one there, will bring you straight to the social media without having to go there, as long as you can access this website. So now what we want is we want the live tracker. Here it comes. It's yellow brick tracker. Says we're doing leg 1, so hit that. And this is the screen you're going to see. You can see all this action here. That's all the boats and the tracks that they're doing. And I'm not going to make this a tutorial. I will later on, maybe later today, I'll actually do one. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the wind on. So I hit that, come down. I prefer windy for the breeze. You can see now, a lot of you will be familiar with the way windy works. Some of you won't be. You've also got across the side here all the teams. So you can click that in and out if you want to know what the color of the boats are for the teams, but a bit more on that later. And then here's your zoom button. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. As I'm hitting that, you can see the boat starting to come up, and you get an impression very quickly of these little coloured boats. Okay, I'm probably telling a lot of people to suck eggs, because I know a lot of the GGR guys are going to come over and the people to follow it all. But as soon as I click onto a boat, it'll tell me who it is, and it gives their basic statistics. So I can show you now Spirit of Helsinki. She's doing, says here, 3.1 knots. Skipper's juicy. The position, oops, that's one of the entrants calling in. It gives you the time of the last signal. There you can see last signal here. Lat and long, that's their actual GPS position, and distance to the finish, and then also distance in the last 24 hours. All right. Now, it also gives you in line honours. That's the overall ranking of the fleet. That's the 5th in line honours. And then in IRC, which is the handicapping system, it shows you 9th in IRC and 3rd in Sayula class. So you've basically got all the definitions that you need for that individual boat at the time. Okay, and then let's pick on Explorer, who took the line first yesterday, a few seconds of fame. She's doing 4 knots. Mark Sinclair's the skipper. The owner's us. Position again, distance to the finish, just the last 24 hours. So you've got all that information in that one box when you pick it up. So that's kind of cool as well. So very quickly, here's the leaderboard on the side, and that gives you a wealth of information as well, which you can play with. But it's set up initially to be in your line honours position. That's on this one here. You hit on that, and you can go to IRC division, okay, or IRC for the whole fleet. That'll give you then the status of that, and then you can go into the individual classes to work out where they are in their own classes. So. Not so much a tutorial, but just telling you the basics of what's going on and what I will actually use on a daily basis to give you the update. Certainly, at the start, we were thinking, this is going to be a bit of a drifter, but if you saw the live, you'll see the breeze filled in just at the right time, so it was fantastic. Kites going up, then pretty quickly coming down towards the ocean again. The winds flopped over, and you had a headwind pushing you through. And now during the night, they've basically got light headwinds. This is showing a gradient here, and in fact, I'll look forward to giving you the tutorial, and you'll see exactly what happens. But if I just zoom this out, it'll show you normally that there's a wind gradient here, and you can determine roughly what it is. But I understand that for the moment, and we'll wait for the tutorial on that. There's not much wind in the English Channel at the moment, so they're going to be drifting. They're light, very light headwinds. Okay, probably about less than 10 knots. Okay, there's less than 10 knots affecting them. And the biggest part of this is on this one here where it shows wind. If I come down, you've got all sorts of other things. Wind, temperature, pressure, and currents is the big deal. Now I can see, in fact, this actually varies a lot, but now there's not a lot of current. But during the night, if I can't go backwards, but I can go forwards, you'll see how it changes. So now you've got quite a strong current. The darker these purple colours are, the stronger the current. That's going to be favourable to them when the tide turns. But this is at around about 10 o'clock tonight. But then if we keep going till the morning, you'll see as the tide's progressing, it's all looking pretty good, pretty strong there, all the way through the night. So they're going to get a bit of a kick out on the way to see, to get them through and out into open water. Okay, so where are we at? Well, obviously during the night, here's translated. She screamed away in the middle of the night. At one stage she was way up front, but they're all heading out to meet the oncoming weather, which I'll go through. But there's translated. They can walk them through. She's in a really a good position. Penjuic's right here. I'm not going to get too technical with this for today. Right alongside Maiden. So Maiden and Penjuic are really pretty much on top of each other. So they're having a bit of a scrap. Here we've got Spirit of Helsinki, and then we've got Neptune. You can pretty much read what's going on there. And Explorers heading up into no man's land, doing 4 knots, and so on. Now, one of the things I should point out on this, the speeds that are showing are not necessarily boat speed. They're actually a vector made good along the course. So Stern is not doing so much at the moment, probably because she's been sorting out her forestay. We've got Evrika doing okay. But this line here, this red line, is actually the general course heading down towards Cape Town. And I'll just expand on this just to help you understand a bit more how it happens. Here's the red line, okay? That's the course that's going to take them out into the Atlantic and down around Spain and down past Portugal and so on. I'm going to extend it out so you can see what's going to happen. We need to get rid of the currents now. And I'll come back to wind, which will make it a little bit more sensible. And there it is. So they're going to come down through the Canaries all the way down. Now, the simple story here, if a boat is heading down directly in line with the course, their vector made good is going to be their speed. If they're making 6 knots, it's going to show pretty much 6 knots boat speed, 6 knots vector made good. But if for some reason, because of the weather, a boat tends to head straight out at 90 degrees to the course, their speed, their velocity made good against the course is going to slow down substantially. So we're actually always usually referring to the actual speed of the boat to along the direction of the course towards Cape Town. Okay, so if they turned around and went backwards for some reason, you'll see they'll have a negative speed. Okay, so just something to remember. We've got various options that we can do, talking with YB3 on what they, how they want to handle that, and we work together. So just coming back to it, many of you will be watching this on your mobile device, and you're given all of the most popular data that you need to keep up with it. It's every 4 hours at the moment, and that sort of lets you keep up with it. But as you can see, this light headwind is very light. It's not favourable for them. Currents are not too bad of a problem. The other thing that we can do here is that I can alter the actual weather forecasting. The boat's position is fixed. It tells you when the position came in, and that was at 0800 hours UTC, or 9 o'clock 9 o'clock local time here in the UK. So that position of the boat won't change for the next until 1200 UTC. It's every 4 hours. But what I can do now is I can move the weather forecasting forward. So this is currently set on 9:30 UTC. I can push that through 29:30 UTC. You can see the wind has changed. Okay, the wind's now coming from the northwest. It's on the beam a little bit. They'll be heading down generally on the normal track, and so their speed will pick up. So by later tonight, they're going to, in fact, I'll tell you roughly when it's due to kick in. This is using the windy forecasting. Okay, so at 4 o'clock this afternoon, 4:30, 8 o'clock, it's still headwinds UTC, and there we go. It's going to change around about midnight. It's starting to swing. So yeah, kind of interesting. And I would imagine that all of the entrants will have done a very solid look at the weather, because they're allowed to take any weather information they want with them. They would have looked at predict wind, this windy map as well, and written down a tactical plan on exactly where they want to go, and strategically place themselves over the next few days. Because if we then go back to, I'll show you the big picture over the next couple of days and follow the weather through. So this is real-time weather now. Headwinds, very light and fluffy, calm seas. In fact, the sea state, I can pick up on the sea state here, the waves. There's colour gradients on this. That's pretty much calm. There's less than a metre there. And where we get this gradient from is down along the bottom of the map here. You can see these colours here. That's only half a metre. If you can see this here, hopefully this is showing on the screen. A light blue is half a metre, so it's pretty much calm seas that they've got. So back to the, excuse my voice, I've been talking too much. Back to the wind, okay, and then I bring it forward. So that's the wind now. So midnight tonight, there we go. It's just started to swing here from the northwest. So they'll start to pick up speed. They'll be cracking kites, asymmetrics probably, running on the beam, heading down. So that's at midnight. And then by this time tomorrow morning, it's around about here, it's still light. Okay, and I can use another tool here. It's called the toggle ruler. If I just go boom, boom, I'm now measuring the distance here between these 2 points. And I would say in the next 24 hours, they're probably going to do between 100 and 150 miles maybe. So this is coming down here. I press that out to 150 miles. They're going to be down, way off Brest, getting into the Bay of Biscay by this time tomorrow. And so if I get rid of that now, and come back to the wind this time tomorrow, that's what they've got. It's strengthening. You can see there the breeze is strengthening on the beam, or even slightly behind them, and I can take it through by the end of tomorrow. It's going right behind from the north, so they'll be cracking there. Running spinnakers, Tapio will get his blooper up and the whole bit. This wind strength's about 15 knots when you see the light green. Again, on the wind, when you come down, it's not the big tutorial, but green's going 15 to 20 here on this scale. So that's how you read the wind off. So 15 to 20 knots, with all their big gear up, they'll be really starting to truck along. So the next day, they may well make a couple hundred miles, or even longer. So that's on the 12th. And then we go through again. Let's see, 9 o'clock on the 13th. And it's starting to go light again, but at least it's in in the right conditions. So what that's telling you straight away is that over the next couple of days, they're going to have great sailing. It's a good way to settle in. There won't be any big seas bouncing around. They can all settle into a routine, get their watches running, and keep the food happening, and maybe play a few cassette tapes and so on. But the first couple of days looking good for sure. So by then they're coming around. They'll be out of the Biscay and still probably going straight on track. There's no real benefit that I'm seeing at the moment. On the 14th, the wind's picking up, still all in the right direction. If we look at the big picture to see if anyone wants to, no one's got an interest in getting out here. There's a big hole, and they would have seen this. They'll get reasonable forecasts for the next 7 days, just working off windy and so on. So that's a pretty good forecast there. That's the 14th. If we go through to the 15th, that's 4 days out. Again, great run. I think we're going to see quite fast speeds down towards the Canaries. So that's all looking pretty good. And it's jeepers. They're going to get I'm going right through the 17th now. That's a week later. A week later, they'll be through they're through and done. So someone's looking after us right now. We're doing pretty well. So again, I think that's probably enough for this morning to give you a rundown of what's happening. Sometime today, I'll come on and I'm just going to walk you through all those aspects of exactly what's happening and how to get the most out of this program. Now, just before I get to that, I'll just come back here. That's adventure class. We'll go to the whole fleet, IRC. You can see along here, and this will be in the tutorial as well, these little numbers, like translated as 1.120, made as 1.162, Penduic 1.217. Now, I'm not an IRC expert, but it's a handicapping system, okay? And so a big, fast boat has to allow time to a smaller, slower boat. And the bigger the number here, the bigger the correction. So Penduic has the highest rating. And so even though that means technically she's got to be in front of everyone all the time. And with that correction factor for all the fleet, it's supposed to even the fleet out. And that means that you can have any boat at all, like Outlaw could end up all of a sudden handicap leader, in the fleet. So that's your actual IRC rating. And if we go down the bottom, I notice 2 things here. One is that... here we go. Who's the... okay, Stern has got... Stern is on 1069. Godspeed's on 1092. So that's interesting. Okay, I won't go there. But anyway, that's how that works. So let's see. I'm going to go back here and see if I can press the right buttons and bring me back onto the screen. Yep. Okay. So as I say, the other thing I can do here is I can actually read your comments. Those that are watching this live, I can read your comments here, and I can answer any questions at the time. So I often do that. I'll do that in a sec. And later on, we can actually bring other people into this conversation if things are happening, and I can bring up the photos that the boats are sending us. And we'll use bits and pieces. But what I want to say now is that give us a break. There's a lot going on, and we're scattered thin. Ada's leaving today. She's heading back to Les Sables d'Olonne. Jack is already on the train. She's a media lady heading towards London and then flies back to Les Sables d'Olonne today. Dave and Georgie and Marco, they're out trying to pull our little stand down at the village, get everything into storage for when we come back. And Jane and I are here in the office going like crazy to keep it all happening. And we are actually traveling on Wednesday, all day Wednesday. So there might not be an update on Wednesday from here. But by later today, I'll give you the tutorial. So you'll be able to play around with the tracker yourself. You'll be able to get on there anytime and pull up all that information and go for it. And we'll be doing the best to get settled into this routine. We're a bit like the boats. They're out there doing their bit. We've now got to get into this routine, and it'll take us a week, I reckon, before we're fully able to give you all the ins and outs of what's going on. With the material that comes in, the photographs and the videos from the boats on a scheduled basis, that immediately goes to their teams. So the teams will put that up, and we'll use that as well. Rob's actually currently putting things together for the moment. We had drones up yesterday trying to get all that together, and all the other bits. We'll be putting various videos up as as we can and give you all sorts of information. So just running through the bits. Oh, the other thing I should say, we've got about 10,000 followers on Facebook at the moment, and we've got about, I don't know, 1,500 subscribers on YouTube. We had about 60,000 followers on the Golden Globe race and a lot on YouTube. So if you want to give us a hand and help all the team, just please subscribe, like Facebook, subscribe to the YouTube channel, because Jane has a bit of a thing. Every time we do one of these on GGR, we make about €10. It's really cool because we can actually charge it. We don't do any other advertising. Okay, when you're seeing YouTube, if you see the ads, they're the compulsory things you got to do, whether we get paid or not, and that never changes. It's just that once we get the subscriptions up, Jane gets her $10 a day, which becomes a standing joke, depending on how many people are following it. And I'm sure it's going to build as we go. So thanks for doing that. Tell your friends about the race. So got some comments here. Morning, Don. G'day, Simon. So good to be back, Don. Yeah, there's a lot of followers from GGR. We had a huge amount of people on GGR that were non-sailors. They'd never sailed in their life, hadn't been on boats, but they loved what was going on here. So that'll slowly ramp up as well. So Jenny's been checking the tracker straight up. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it becomes a bit of a habit, eh? In fact, people complain sometimes when we change it from 4 hourly into a 2 hourly or 1 hourly. They said, "Oh, bugger, now we got to check it every hour." But 4 hours enough. So one here from Timmy. Which team was this with the baby stay problem? That's Sterner. Okay, Sterner's got a baby stay problem. They've fixed it with the Dyneema, so they're carrying on. And Paul, g'day, Paul. Kathleen Johnson, Waveland, Mississippi. Always good to find out where you came from. Happy to see you so early up here. And Ian, not a problem. We'll crank up the coverage, but as I say, we're a bit like the boats out there at the moment, trying to catch up on sleep and settle into a routine. So it'll get better as we go along. We didn't talk much about things that happen. Bloody Explorer got the line, which was amazing. So don't expect to see that happen. She's a great boat, a great crew. But yeah, they were first across the line, and then it was Helsinki, then it was translated, and then it was the others. When the tracker's on, you can actually, I'll show you how to do a video replay, which becomes fun as the whole race comes together. You see these boats and it seems static, but if you play with the thing on the bottom, which I'll show you later today, you can actually do a video replay. You drag all the boats back across behind the line. You can vary the speed that you want, right, for the replay, and then you hit go, and you can watch all these little boats, and they have a race, and you can see them cross the line, because on the line, it's all live. It's real-time live. It's not every 4 hours. It's instant. And then it slowly goes back to sort of like, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and so on as it leaves the line. So we actually wound it back to confirm the positions, and she crossed the line 16 seconds, I think it was, Explorer, after the gun. And so it goes. So hello, Gay Rob, Brian David, a member of the volunteer. Yeah, I just want to, we had a great time on the Shield Hall, and I want to thank all the volunteers that helped us in our little stand here in the village, and volunteer ribs and all sorts of things. We couldn't do it without you. So the volunteers are integral to what's going on, and can't thank you enough for do that. Don't you have a link of the live tracker, please? Oh, you're watching it there now. So it's through the website is the best way, and then if you've got your own app, you can download Windy apps. And in fact, if you look on the you'll see the way to link to the app from the actual tracker on the online version. But there is an app. It's YB Races, and then you go to Ocean Globe Race. So hope that makes sense. Hi from California. Awesome day yesterday. Sure was. Couldn't have been better. The forecast was great. And when the boats were taken off, it was very exciting. So I think everyone was happy with that. Okay, Laura, we'll be down to Punta soon. We'll answer your emails. I'm running a bit behind down there on a few things. Good to see GGR people. Fantastic yesterday. G'day, Annie. And can't believe we're back to speaking with me. Yeah, it comes around quick. So, but this is just a start. So, as I say, all pretty basic for now, but we'll get into it. And I've already been talking for nearly half an hour. So that's enough. We try to keep these short. So thanks for following us. I'll hit this button here, and if we're lucky, you'll get how to follow us even more. Thanks for sharing it around, and we'll see you tomorrow if all goes well. See you later. I don't like answer.